Hello everybody, and welcome to another video. Rest in peace, Peter Lynch. Yes, Peter Lynch was arrested for his part in the summer riots, and he was sentenced for about 2.5 years. Unfortunately, last weekend he took his own life because he couldn't stand the thought of spending 2.5 years in jail for something he didn't do. He was the first political prisoner jailed by Comrade Starmer and his arrogant Justice Secretary Mahmood. Both those two have blood on their hands and they both should be in jail. Even his sister has took to Facebook to lambast Starmer, and as what I said has told him to F off Starmer. But I say this, I give this warning to Peter Lynch's sister: be very careful what you say about Comrade Starmer, because he doesn't like criticism, and if you're not careful he will probably send his Stasi around knocking on her door to arrest her for insulting Comrade Starmer. This is the kind of country Britain is now in, we're living in. There is no more free speech. There will be no more dissidents or what will happen is dissenting voices. Anybody who has an opinion about something, about the government, who dares to criticise Comrade Starmer will be jailed, and there will be no free speech anymore because it's ended. Free speech has ended in this country as soon as Comrade Starmer walked in Downing Street. Dissenting voices will not be tolerated. So if you've got a different opinion, if you're a conservative commentator and your opinions differ from the views of Comrade Starmer, then your voices will not be heard and they will be shut down. But the loony left, the far left, they will be continued to be allowed by Comrade Starmer to have their say. Yes, I'm afraid Britain has become a communist country, and Starmer is becoming a communist dictator. He's getting out of hand. He's getting out of control. So I say to the people, do not stop telling the truth about this son of a bitch, Starmer, because he is a son of a bitch. Continue to speak out against him. Do not let him shut down any attempt to force free speech. Because like I said, if you say anything bad about him, he will pick the phone up and he will ring his police, or whichever police they are in the country, or should I say Stasi, and those who criticise him will probably will have a knock on the door and you will be arrested. Peter Lynch was a political prisoner. He dared to speak out against the migrants, and this is what happened to him. like I've said, Starmer and his Justice Secretary both have blood on their hands. They're responsible for this. I saw a video clip the other day when the Justice Secretary was on Sky News being interviewed by Kay Burley. Now, I don't usually agree with anything that Kay Burley says. I think sometimes she comes across as a vile journalist, but she seems to have of late she seems to have started asking the tough questions to Labour MPs. She was talking to the Justice Secretary, and the Justice Secretary was doing a lot of squeaming. She looked uncomfortable. But like I say, I don't usually agree what Kay Burley says. Things she said in the past, but this is a journalist's job. I think she must be the first journalist to ask these uncomfortable questions to Labour MPs. Because I think she was responsible for putting in Starmer in anyway. She's a Labour lovey, and her vote helped Comrade Starmer to get in. The rest of the mainstream media, the BBC, ITN and Channel 4, they are not covering this story. They're not covering this story. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. If they interviewed a Labour MP on, say, the BBC or ITV, they probably wouldn't ask these kind of questions. They wouldn't mention Peter Lynch, whoever, especially if they was interviewing the Prime Minister. His one condition would be if he was interviewed, was don't mention Peter Lynch to me. I don't want to hear it. In other words, I'm fed up of hearing him mentioning about his name. Well, Comrade Starmer, his name will be continued to be mentioned, and you will continue to feel very uncomfortable about this. You are responsible for his death. Especially you need to be put in jail. Why don't you go to jail? Because you're pathetic. When you stand up at question time and the opposition put a question to you and you stand up, all that comes out of your mouth are lies. Lie after lie after lie. The same when you said that the rioters would face swift justice. What you meant by that, Comrade Starmer, was they was going to be made an example of. Well, that's the end of this video. Mr. Politics here signing off. And remember, don't believe the lies.